Oregon lawmakers proposing cutting a piece of mortgage interest deduction for second homes and reducing it for higher earners, calling for those funds to be directed to home ownership or homelessness prevention programs. Here today to discuss that, as well as his new book that gives readers a guide on taxes, is Daniel Geltrude. Positive Financial Karma is the name of the new book. He's with Geltrude and Company. Dan, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So I do want to get into your book, but, you know, we have sort of this wave of tax tweaks sweeping the country. Oregon is one example of that. I think New York is talking about doing some similar things. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't like it because you could only go to the well so many times. It's the mantra consistently is tax the rich, tax the rich. Keep taxing the rich and they'll go away. Wealth is mobile.
But has that actually happened? We've been hearing that so much, and we've not seen that much evidence of actual migration based on some of these tax changes.
Well, Governor Cuomo was just talking about it a few weeks ago, how he no longer wants to tax the rich, although this new proposal goes along those lines, so he's going back on what he said. But I do believe it is happening, and it's not just that you lose the revenue of wealthy people leaving. How about this one? When you have the migration of people to lower tax states, it also, based upon the census, can change the balance in Congress, and we already know how important one vote is. So by picking up more representation in the House, it can matter, even by a single vote.
Let's shift to the book real quick, because this is an issue we're going to keep talking about, the Oregon proposal, the New York City proposal. But you say one of the issues you talk about is how to spend your tax refund. Now, for some Americans, specifically in the high-tax states that lost the state and local tax deduction, that refund might be smaller, right?
Yes, it could be smaller in a high-tax state like New York, New Jersey, California. So those issues of taxing the wealthy really go to the points that we've been making. You cannot continue to target wealthy people, and that's what's happening in these states.
You know, increasing talk of doing away with the mortgage interest rate deduction. Do you think that would impact this spring's buying season in the housing market?
Yeah, it definitely will. I think home ownership is incentivized by the deductibility of mortgage interest as well as real estate taxes. You start to chip away at those things. You start to chip away at the incentives for home ownership and multiple home ownership. Look, that affects builders and everybody who is in the real estate industry when you start to do those types of things.
To come back to the book for a second, so you're talking about the disadvantages of taxing the wealthy. I mean, to be frank, those people need your help from the book or wherever less than I think lower income people do, because those people can afford lots of accountants. So what would be your top tip for people who can't afford an accountant or are using tax software, et cetera, in order to help them in their tax process?
Well, there are many things that people can do just in general related to how they live their lives financially. The number one thing that I tell people to do is that because they lack financial literacy overall, common sense financially is not so common. Start with a very simple process. Do a budget. How much money do I have coming in? How much money do I spend? And work from there in terms of what's left over. And I think that people literally have no idea about their own finances. And that's the difference between, you say, the rich and others. The rich know exactly what's going on with their finances, or they hire people to make sure that they know what's going on with their finances.
Yeah, and it's amazing how few people drop a budget. Thank you so much, Dan. Good to see you. Dan Geltrude, author of Positive Financial Karma and founder of Geltrude and Company. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.